Mom got sick first, then my dad got sick. They were both in the hospital at the same time, both in ICU, next to each other. There's irony in the fact that they left together, you know? Because they were always together, and they always wanted to be together. There's a huge hole there where they both stood so tall. My dad was from Mexico, and he was a very proud immigrant. My mom's from in Brownsville, Texas. My parents met in Eastern Washington. My parents settled here in Skagit after being migrant farm workers for so long. My uncles and my grandparents always said like this was the place people treated them the nicest. I'm the youngest of 6. There's 3 boys and 3 girls. My dad's definitely a family man, a person that took pride in his family and wanted to see you succeed. If you were successful, he was successful. He's proud of his business. My mom, you know, she was the most loyal person that I've ever met in my life. We're not perfect, you know, but in my mom's eyes, like, we were. And we couldn't do any wrong. You'd show up and, you know, first thing, have you eaten? You know? She loved to shop. One of the worst days of her life was when she found out the local Macy's was gonna close down. In our family and in our culture, Sundays is a big thing, you know, to get together for meals and whatnot. On certain Sundays, we've cooked meals and taken them out there and hung out with them. My dad used to always, he'd show up with there'd be 5 people at dinner, and he'd show up with this, you know, 2 giant grocery bags full of pan dulce, you know, and like the kids, like there's these big, you know, pink conchas. And the kids call it pink bread or pink pan, and they love it. And so, like, you know, they talk about my dad in that sense, and they remember him that way. I think the saddest part, especially with like our culture and our family, is how much it means to be around people. This disease is something that, you know, you don't want to be around people, right? You hear so many people talk about numbers, and they don't see people as people. You know, those numbers are real people. My parents are real people. And regardless of like whatever like pre-existing conditions they may have had, like it wasn't their time to go. They should still be here, you know? Dad should be walking out there with my son, you know, and showing him that cow. You know, should be able to come over to my mom's house and have her make food for Benny, you know? Not being able to be there with them, you know? Like, I live like 3 blocks from the hospital, and I could just go stand outside the window, and I couldn't be there. You know, there's so many folks dealing with this stuff. My heart, you know, we pray every night for people that aren't close to their family that are sick, you know, because it's just heartbreaking. When your parents pass, people tell you these things and how your parents might have affected their lives and how they contributed to their lives. And I'm so proud of them to be my parents. I'm so proud of the legacy that they've left here in this community and in our family. My son and my nieces and nephews, that's my parents' legacy. I'm really happy they got to know Benny. He'll have memories of them and to make sure that he knows who they are. Make sure that their presence is in his life too, you know? My son is a Sanchez. What kind of path am I going to create for him, you know? What kind of like opportunities are we going to give to him so that he can succeed in life, you know? And that doesn't just come from me, it comes from my dad and his parents and their parents and my mom and her parents. Honoring, you know, the folks that came before us and making sure that we do good by them.